Join us for a candid conversation with Chris Bauder, CEO of PurposeBuilt Brands, as he shares how partnering with Vaya Group helped to strengthen leadership alignment and elevate team performance at a critical time of growth. What challenge or goal led you to partner with Vaya Group?
The challenge we were facing as an executive leadership team was that we had several new members join the company, and several people were promoted onto the team, and people were not really used to working with each other well. And we had a very aggressive growth plan put in place by our private equity partners, and we used the Vaya Group to work with us to better understand each team member's strengths and communication preferences and areas for development, and then to follow up both individually with members of the team and then collectively with all of us as a team to talk through some of our challenges. And it was a very thorough and helpful process. And we not only achieved what we were asked to do by the private equity group, but I think had a much easier and better time working together in a more cohesive way.
How did Vaya's work support your leadership team or organizational readiness?
So the work supported me personally, had a lot of intensive coaching, peer-to-peer feedback, and actually feedback from some of our private equity partners in terms of my strengths and areas for improvement in being a more effective leader and someone to hold both the business and some of my team members more accountable. And then from an individual standpoint, Vaya worked with some of the people on the team who were in need of more coaching and more direct feedback to help them both understand things that were limiting their growth and ways they were limiting the effectiveness of the team. So individual follow-ups as well as group sessions. And I think what was great about Vaya is the approach was tailored to different people and to different settings as opposed to a prescribed potential way of working.
What impact have you seen from your people, your culture, or your business?
Some of the work revealed some areas that were fundamental weaknesses on the team, in particular about the way people's behavior was impacting others and themselves. And we did actually take some pretty aggressive moves with people, in some cases, more aggressive coaching, in other cases, actually moving them off of the team. And I think it actually, sometimes addition by subtraction is helpful for effectiveness. Certainly, in this case, it was because we were able to replace them with higher performers.
If another CEO asked you about working with Vaya, what would you say?
I would say the approach that Vaya brings is customized to your situation, and I think they have a lot of experience. Each of the people we've worked with has been very experienced, but what I appreciated is that they didn't have a recipe or a cookie cutter other than just understanding in depth, not only from what you tell them, but from what they perceive as they talk to various people in the organization, then designing a program that is best for you. Every company, every team is different, and even just changing a few team members can result in a very different team dynamic. And I think Vaya approaches each opportunity organically. So I think they work quickly if you're looking for quick change. And they also work, I think, very well in understanding your custom and unique and individual, in some cases, problems or limitations, and then works effectively to get past them. And I've had continuous communication with the leader of the Vaya Group over many years, even after some of our engagements ended. And I think as a CEO, it's just I think comforting and helpful to have someone outside the organization that you can rely upon for their best advice.
Is there anything else you'd like to share that might resonate with other CEOs or private equity leaders?
Our private equity partners had never worked in any of their portfolio companies with a group like Vaya, and the managing partner of our private equity firm asked if it would be okay if he could use them for other portfolio companies because the results were so dramatic and so quick that I think, in the world of private equity, with the hold periods they have, there's an expectation that you want fairly rapid positive change, and the Via Group delivers that. And I think for our partners, that's a great testament. They tend to be skeptical around investments in coaching, in team leadership, and I think they saw the results at our company and asked where else they could potentially use Via. And I think that's the strongest endorsement for private equity is they expect positive change, they expect it cost effectively, and they expect it quickly. And Vaya has delivered in each of those dimensions.
How did Vaya improve communication and value delivery with your PE partners?
Yeah, I will say this, I think private equity is very focused on key leads in the companies that they invest in, typically the CEO, often the CFO. And I think via not only down the organization, but at very senior levels, can actually help facilitate the performance and also the interaction and communication between the company and the private equity group, which is an area we were lacking at the time. And I think it helped build a better appreciation for me of what my partners at the private equity firms needed, and at the same time gave them a better sense of the operating style of the company. So Vio is an excellent translator, if that's the right word, between the language of private equity and the partners' expectations as well as management. I think it was really, really helpful for me to understand how best to communicate and also what not to communicate, and how to do it in a much more fast-paced way, which is what the private equity group was looking for, is just faster turn on information that they can be useful in helping you with.
What stands out about Vaya's approach to using data and driving results?
There's a balance of quantitative assessment and really a deep understanding of what that assessment means. And then, most helpfully, I think the team at Via is always great at being able to translate the data into actionable and very specific follow-up. So it's difficult to deal with 10 things or 10 suggestions, and I appreciate that Via comes back. Again, it's a very customized approach, and it focuses on just a few things that are very, very helpful that you can work on very quickly and show results, as opposed to a huge laundry list, which is daunting, and often organizations don't have the stamina to do all of it. And I think Via is just a very focused, quick, and helpful approach in your own language. So it's easier to translate and work with from that perspective.
Want to learn how Vaya Group can support your leaders and teams to drive measurable business results? Visit our website or contact us directly to start the conversation.